with the setup. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Hello, everybody. Huh?
The cameras got turned around. Son of a mother.
Oh, yeah. Where is it pointed? Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier, and welcome back to another episode of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Did you watch the movie yet?
It was a waste of money.
I did not. My son went to go see it. I'm like,
It was a waste of money. Look, everybody, welcome to the iTech show. But we got more important things to talk about. Specifically, the FNAF 2 movie sucked.
Oh.
Don't go watch it.
Wow, really? Because my son said it was better than the first.
I'm sorry, your son has horrible taste in movies then.
Well, he's
The whole movie was
a teenager, so.
Yeah, the whole movie was an incomprehensible mess. I didn't understand the plot, and I got jump scared 20 times to the point where I got old after the fifth one.
Okay, boomer. Maybe you're just
also,
not
the fight
of
at the
right
end was
generation.
super lackluster. I'm like the same generation your son is, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't know.
We're both Zoomers.
You're a boomer. Because you're like, oh, I didn't understand the plot. I couldn't figure it out.
You watch the movie and try to figure out the plot. Then we'll talk about it. How's that?
I already know the plot. I haven't seen the movie yet because I know the games. It's a pretty simple
it's not.
premise.
The movies are not one-to-one to the games. The first movie wasn't one-to-one, and neither was the second one.
The plot was very much tied in.
Okay, yes, you can make some connections, also some things about the plot of the second movie varied hugely from the plot of the games. Also, the plot of the games themselves is an incomprehensible mess that's been retconned like 7 times.
It's not incomprehensible. I mean,
okay, it's not incomprehensible, right? But like, you have to make a lot of assumptions, and the whole thing is built on theories based on context clues and voice lines in the games, and there's no plot per se so much as there is a bunch of puzzle pieces that we've connected together that we think resemble a plot.
All I know is there's a reason why Hollywood is struggling to capture audience right now.
Because they can't come up with original ideas and would rather keep recycling the thing, but for more money.
A lot of recycling.
Oh, and also streaming services.
Yeah, a lot of recycling of thought and plots. Like honestly though, I wanted to. I ran out of time. I never got to the theater in time, but I did want to see the new Running Man.
That was actually a good movie,
right?
I actually really liked that movie,
and I wanted to see that.
Though I will warn you, it is commie propaganda.
Okay. I'm curious to see where that goes. But I mean, it's based off of a book, and I understand that the book aligns with this movie more closely than the Arnold Schwarzenegger 80s movies did.
Yeah.
The 80s movie with Schwarzenegger was it, in its own time, it was awesome for what it was. But I've heard this is better, and it aligns better with the storyline of the book. But I've not read the book either, so I don't know. But either way,
Stephen King novel.
Is this Stephen King?
I think so. It was either that or some other novel.
No, that is not Stephen King.
Who wrote the?
You're still typing like a Neanderthal?
What? It's a phone cue.
You have a microphone in that thing. Talk to it.
Yeah, Stephen King.
It is a Stephen King book.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing that in the beginning of the movie. I was just. Yeah.
Boy, he is so prolific. Crazy. I was talking to, who was it? I think it was like my wife or something. She said she didn't know who Stephen King was. And I was like, well, you do know him. You just don't know you know him.
Yeah, exactly.
And I rattled off some of the things.
It's The Running Man, and that's about all I know.
Stand By Me.
The song?
The movie?
Never seen it.
You don't even know what the movie is?
No, I didn't know about the song. Stand by me.
You gotta see Stand By Me. You gotta see the movie. Iconic movie.
Okay, whatever, man.
Fix yourself.
Here, let me get a wrench.
What? No, yourself. I'm fine.
You're obviously broken.
Oh, gosh.
Let me put you back together. Anyway.
All right.
So, anyways, I want to talk about an actually useful piece of tech.
Well, not all tech is useful, but a good majority of the tech.
I know a lot of tech
useful. We talk about useful tech.
I'm talking about like practicality, right?
Okay.
911 now has the ability to see a video feed when you call it that.
But is that deep state, or is that
that's just useful?
You don't
that's
feel
just
like
useful.
There's any threat?
No.
You don't think that could be misappropriated? Because you're usually the conspiracy theorist.
I mean, I don't see any downside to
watching,
this.
listening kind of person.
Look, but the thing is, this is perfectly consensual. I have a fucking emergency, and I want the
Drop the
Sorry.
F-bomb again.
I have
Axel!
Okay, let's redo it from the top. I have an emergency, and I need to tell the person what's wrong.
Yeah.
And if I'm panicking, it might just be easier to show a video of the guy with a gun.
Yeah, sure. No, I get there's times when that makes sense. I myself am not.
Not to mention, honestly, I had to call 911 for a reason I won't talk about on the air.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'm not like any danger anymore. Right, but I mean,
now my curiosity's piqued, but we'll move on past that for now.
This will be like a conversation off the show, right?
Yeah,
but
gotcha.
Basically, I had to call 911.
Yeah.
Right, and it shared my location.
Yeah,
right.
Everyone knows that. Yeah.
Right, but this is all with my consent.
Yeah.
And also, this is to help people in case of emergency, not to spy on civilians and suppress their rights.
Could you imagine if you're in an emergency, you can't talk, so you want to use the camera with 911, but it's like then you get the pop-up like 911 wants to access your camera, accept or deny, and you're like too injured.
It's just a one button.
I can't.
It's one button.
I can't.
If you were able to dial 911 in the first place,
I voice dialed it.
That's a good point. Well, you can still use your vocal cords, right? I'm just saying, for people who are able to dial it, it's one tap. You share your screen, or not just your screen. You share your camera.
Your camera, and is it the selfie camera, the back camera? Do you have?
It's the back camera.
Back camera only.
I think it's the back. I didn't use it when I called 911. I didn't need to.
Okay.
Right, but from what I've heard, iOS also has this feature.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they added it about a year ago. Android recently just added it too.
Does your local 911 office also have to upgrade their hardware to be compatible?
I think so, yes.
Do you know if Arizona has?
I don't think so.
Okay, because this is really interesting timing. You'll never believe what I was doing Wednesday morning. I was having breakfast at a meeting with the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, and they had two people who were speaking about upgrades they're making to the 911 system in Arizona.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird timing?
As most likely due to changes like this, to modernize their equipment to match the features. Like I remember when smartwatches started sending out 911 alerts, 911 call centers had to upgrade their equipment to actually receive these messages.
Yeah, like another thing.
I remember early on in the adoption of that technology, because the way the watches would work is they would use accelerometers to tell if you were in a car crash, for example.
Right.
People would get on roller coasters with their smartwatches on.
Oh,
it would call the cop, share the location. They get there and like, did something happen? Did something happen? A bunch of watches just called 911 at the roller coaster. Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just a roller coaster.
That got fine-tuned, but yes, that was a thing.
Yeah.
But there was someone I can't remember who, but someone told me that they were in a car accident and it did call 911 for them, their watch. Like it did work as intended, which I thought was kind of neat.
Yeah.
So here's another new feature that they mentioned that they're rolling out.
Okay, sure.
They're gonna right now it's X and Y coordinates, right? We already talked about that.
They're gonna add a Z-axis?
They are. So now they can know what floor you're calling from. So if they're calling from an apartment building or in a hotel, that could be anywhere, right? That's thousands of rooms. But now they can actually do X, Y, and Z. So they can say, okay, this person's on the 6th floor. And then that way they can narrow down a couple rooms. That you're calling from. Isn't that neat?
No, this is really nice.
Yeah.
And a 5G signal can narrow you down to just a block, right? Look, I'll be honest. I am all for these adoption of these more surveillance technologies. If it's for the explicit purpose, hold on, let me finish.
You keep going. I'm just wowing in the middle of your sentence.
I am down for this if it's to help people in the case of an emergency. As long as it stays like that, which obviously it doesn't.
But see, that's my thing. You're usually the one that says, I know this will be misused, and so for that reason, I'm opposed to it. Usually that's your refrain. So I'm really surprised to hear you say this.
Because it does get misused in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
It really does.
Edward Snowden 2.0 is going to be coming out in 10 years and telling you all the horrible things that's been happening with this data.
And nobody will be surprised. Wow, the U.S. government's spying on us when we don't have an emergency?
So for that reason, you're not opposed to
this
still?
Not to mention this data, if it is being collected after the call, would be collected by the state government, which wouldn't be as bad as the federal government. I mean, there is more nuance to this. But generally, I am actually down for this.
Don't you think?
Because if this is saving people's lives, I value that more than the potential downsides.
But don't you think that the potential for the federal government to get their hands on state government data is really
Oh yeah, a
it's easy.
subpoena. I mean,
That's an
look,
easy lift.
you're right. They could just issue a subpoena and get the data.
Yeah, or even some other backdoor kind of way.
Yeah.
You know, again, the Snowden type stuff.
Yeah, the Snowden type stuff. Look,
possible, isn't
I'm
it?
just saying the upsides, in my opinion, outweigh the downsides.
Wow. So I don't disagree with you here. I'm just playing devil's advocate because normally you're the one who's freaking out.
Yeah.
I'm a little shocked that you're on board for this. Maybe
No.
I'm having a positive influence on you. Have you been feeling yourself getting smarter lately? By any chance?
I mean, for different reasons, yes.
Okay, see?
Now, it was just this one case. In this one use case, I actually am all down for it.
Okay. Wow. So that's a shocker, but you know, growth happens. Who knew? I didn't think you were capable of it.
I mean, look, I don't know what I would have said if I was in like high school because I've never been prompted with the question. But like, I mean, at least since I turned 18, I feel like this is a take that seems fairly reasonable.
And do you think that your life experience and maybe the fact that you had to use it recently have helped bring you along this direction?
Specifically, look, I value lives more than the long-term damage.
Yeah.
I value the immediate effect of saving people's lives.
I mean, that's noble. I just...
Right?
Yeah.
And while I don't like surveillance, I hate it, actually. I'm not a fan of it. This one use case, I'm okay with it.
Knowing that there is a potential that it could easily be abused.
With the potential that it could be abused, yeah.
Now, I also...
We can, mind you, we can fix the second part if the federal government was, A, held to more account when it comes to this kind of stuff.
I feel like it's held to quite a bit of account.
Obviously not enough.
I mean, sometimes it gets
and also
for a while,
we add federal rules and regulations regarding data collection on the internet as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If we're ever going to stop this dystopian use of data collection, the kind I specified in my Halloween episode, right, we would need federal regulations to stop companies from being incentivized to do this.
So let's talk about European Union, because they're known as being ahead of us in a lot of those consumer safety.
You're right.
rules.
They are more, I wouldn't say they're perfect, but they're definitely a lot more consumer friendly when it comes to this data protection.
Very conservative in that
Now,
regards.
mind you, the EU is not a collective entity. Some European Union states will have looser regulations regarding data collection than others. For example, I imagine a country like Hungary could give less of a crap, while as a country like France might have stricter rules.
Sure.
That's it. This isn't to say like I know this for a fact. I'm just giving an example.
Right. Well, and I don't disagree with that, but here's my question now. This feature seems like a good idea, but with the rules and regulations of like the EU's data collection policies, would something like this 911 system be able to work in Europe?
So the way I understand European law when it comes to data protection is that companies, it's specified that companies and government organizations have to be illicit to or have to be complicit in a couple standards. The big one, though, is the retention of that data. They're not supposed to retain that data for advertising purposes, for example. Right, past a certain point. And if someone requests that it be gone, whether it's a government or a state or a company, they have to take it down.
Yeah, but that's not really connected to the 911 issue we're talking about.
Well, but hold on. If they call 911, they get the data in the moment, and then they delete it afterwards. That should be fully compliant. Not to mention, in this case, I would assume under current legal framework, and I'm not a lawyer, I imagine this would be consensual and therefore okay. Right? A big thing about European privacy laws is that it needs to be consensual. Now, mind you, a lawsuit might argue it's not consent, but rather implied consent.
Right, because it's an emergency status.
Well, exactly.
You know.
It's implied consent.
And it might be too late to
and if
opt
it
in
turns out that
it's
it
an
is
emergency.
illegal, I imagine carve-outs could be made in the law for these specific use cases.
Yeah.
Amendments like these are made to laws all the time, and it's not a big deal so long as they don't create new loopholes to go along with them.
You know, I'm glad you're okay with this because I've been secretly tapping your phone for months now, and I've been watching everything going on.
For emergency purposes?
Hey, just in case you fall, I'm there for you.
Oh my God.
So I'm glad you're okay with it.
Actually, this is a perfect example. I know you're joking, but this is like the perfect example of how something like this could be misused and why we want more strict rules
Now it's a
regarding
nanny state.
how this could work.
Yeah, it's nanny state type stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Big Brother's watching you and knows what's right all the time.
Right. But it's for your own safety.
It's for, yeah, exactly. We can't have you knowing about the truth or Jerome Powell running the money mill
And I will say,
on Reddit r/Wall Street Bets.
you spend way too much time with your phone on the toilet. You should just finish your business on the toilet and then use your phone on the couch or the bed or somewhere else. You don't need to stay on the toilet that long after you're done doing your business just because you're lost in what you're doing on your phone. Don't ask me how I know
is
that.
this related?
Well, because I've been watching you through your phone, your cameras. It's been very interesting. Just a little bit of advice. You don't need to sit on the toilet until your legs get numb. Do your business. You can still use your phone after you're done using the toilet. I just think you should know that because it seems like you don't.
I don't. Like,
exactly.
What?
Yeah. Just don't ask me how I know. That's not the point. The point is you need to stretch your legs more often. Don't spend so much time on the toilet. That's all I'm saying. At least not with you. And it's just because you're using your phone and you're getting caught up in using your phone. But
I've seen movies where they have like the AI that's like constantly watching you and telling you what you should be doing, and you just want to punch in the face because, like, yes, I know this is bad for me, but I'm still gonna do it.
It's like an episode of Black Mirror.
Yeah, I should beat you up now.
I love Black Mirror, by the way. Have you watched that series? Are you familiar with it?
I've watched a couple episodes, yeah.
Oh, you got to see every episode. It's worth it. So good. Did I? I don't think I did. I have some end of the year activities and episodes.
Oh man, this is so boring.
Wow.
End of the year activities. Oh.
What are you talking? No, but like what I like to do is I like to show an episode of Black Mirror and talk about social downfalls of social media. Did I do that with your class? I think I didn't do it your year. I don't know.
Look, I mean, social media is a tough one for me because, like, on one hand, I think banning it would honestly be a net positive to society, or at least imposing strict regulations.
Really?
Well,
have you heard about Australia?
I said a tough one. Hold on, I know about what they did in Australia.
Let's talk about that here. Let's get to that. But go ahead and say your thing.
Right, but on the other hand, I like the internet being free. But then on the other side of that, three-dimensional coin now, right? It's more like a D3, a three-sided dice.
Sounds like more like a pyramid.
Yeah, it's a pyramid. That's what a three-sided dice is. On the other side of this pyramid, it's like, does having a bunch of for-profit companies control everything we do and say on-said internet count as freedom? Because while yes, we are free, everything is being filtered through the lens of something else, right? So then if you ban it, does that actually make you freer? I mean, in a lot of ways, the golden age of the internet was the 90s. And while I might disagree with that in some ways and say, yeah, rose-tinted glasses, I get where they're coming from.
Yeah, except I was so distracted because you said a pyramid has 3 sides, but it has 4.
Okay, whatever. You have ADHD.
No, but it does.
Oh, yeah, it is a D4.
Because, you know,
the D3 doesn't really exist.
It's got 4 sides.
3-sided object. How's that?
Well, it's still 4. Because
it's impossible for it to have 3 sides.
It's a platform.
Yeah.
That's there. Like a cube is not a 4-sided device. You know, it's 6 because the top and the bottom.
Would it be impossible? No, it can't be impossible not to.
If you have curved sides, you can do it. 3-sided one.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. The point I'm getting at,
whatever,
is you said something and I was totally sidetracked because the 3-sided thing threw me off. But so you're saying that you like the openness, but you also want all these guardrails, which then no longer makes it open.
Well,
how do you do that?
Exactly, it's a dual mandate.
Yeah.
I mean, look, rules and regulations on how social media could be used might be a good thing. Like maybe you can't have an algorithm specifically designed to addict people.
Well, yeah, but then
so then actually
of proof on that's pretty hard.
Well, you could just not have an algorithm.
It's designed to provide you content that you find interesting, not to addict you.
Well, but that's the same thing.
But that's the point. Is obviously, wait, you're going to punish me for making a product that people enjoy? That's not.
But the problem is that you enjoy meth. Do you like meth? Because a lot of meth takers would say, I love meth, guys.
Actually, I do kind of.
Like, yeah, see? I love meth. Therefore, I should keep taking meth. I love Instagram. Therefore, I should scroll on it for 7 hours a day.
But, I mean, obviously, you're being obtuse.
I'm being hyperbolic, right? But
meth is not the same as Instagram, clearly.
But actually, meth and Instagram activate a lot of the same reward centers in your brain.
There's similarities, but
there's a lot of
not,
similarities.
but it's still it's
right?
not exactly a perfect parallel.
So now we're, and here's the thing: the government has an active interest in making sure you don't get addicted to math, because it's bad for the economy and it's bad for social stability. That's why the government gives a crap whether or not you take math.
And yet they still give out free needles because.
Okay, it's more nuanced than that.
Yeah.
Right? Some states believe that actually helping these people with their addiction by not killing them with an okay, how do I put that? This is a topic not outside the purviews of this podcast, sure. Radio show podcast, because it's both, right? It's outside the purview of this show. That kind of discussion.
Let's talk about how this ties into the big news of the week about Australia.
Yeah, I'll tie it into that. Okay. You've actually been listening to me talk. Thank you for being so respectful.
I do regret this already. I'll shake the hand, but I regret this. I'm being way too nice.
You are. Thank you. I really appreciate. We're actually having a good conversation.
Yeah, my bad. I'm just not feeling confrontational enough today. I didn't have my wheeze this morning. You got me over a barrel.
Okay. So what they did in Australia is they actually made it so that if you're a teenager under a certain age, you just can't. 16. Thank you. You just cannot use social media.
Yeah, at all.
Right, and I don't think there's any carve-outs in that. For context.
Not really. However, here's the weird one. YouTube fell under the category, which I thought was weird. YouTube is.
I would actually. Okay, hold on.
I don't know.
I would argue YouTube is social media. Right?
Is Netflix social media?
Well, hold on. Let me finish.
Okay.
Right? If we define a social media platform as user-generated content, which Netflix wouldn't be, right? User-generated content with an algorithm that's designed to keep people on the platform for as long as possible. Under that definition, which, mind you, I just made up on the spot, but I'm trying to kind of assume how the government's thinking and the reasons why they might want to ban social media in the first place, right? That would be social media. YouTube has an algorithm specifically designed to carve out or to keep your attention for as long as possible.
So blogs would be social media under that definition.
Twitter is social media, is it not?
Twitter's different than blogs.
I don't. Are you talking about like the Google thing?
Like Blogspot, for example. You know what blogs are?
I know what a blog is,
right.
but so you can have a blog on any platform.
Right. But so would a blog platform be social media, do you think?
If the blogging platform has user-generated content made specifically to keep people on the platform for as long as possible.
Okay, so how do you navigate this minefield? YouTube is considered social media by the Australian law, but YouTube Kids is not.
It's not?
It is not. YouTube Kids still exists and is still accessible by minors. So,
did they specify that in the rule, or is this just
because Google challenged it? Because the law passed a year ago, and then they had a year to implement. And in that time, there was a lot of challenges, and YouTube tried to get out of it. And what ended up happening was YouTube Kids is allowed. YouTube, and here's the other thing too. It's only, I think, YouTube. You can't have an account, but if you just go to the public YouTube page, I think you can watch videos. You just can't comment. You can't interact. You can't engage. And you can't post.
Well, hold on. So I think where the government's coming from this is you cannot engage with the platform beyond consuming the content that's on it.
Now that's YouTube.
Essentially neutering the more social media aspects of it. To which I say, you know what? That's actually a decent compromise because in the context of kids using the platform, YouTube is used a lot for educational purposes too. Like I remember when I went to school, especially during COVID, teachers would link to YouTube videos for us to watch that were related to the topic. Or TED Talk. Exactly. Yeah. And that's not to say education doesn't exist on other social media platforms, but you're going to find less of it simply due to the nature of how YouTube works.
That's so ubiquitous.
And that its main focus is long-form content.
Yeah.
If I were the Australian government, I might remove shorts. They might have made a carve out for it.
I don't know about that part of it. I found out about the YouTube Kids, and then the interaction parts, but not shorts. But shorts is the more social media-esque part of it, right?
Yeah,
and that's how I see it.
Right. It is, and I also something to mention in the argument of YouTube being a social media platform, it also has the exact same business model as all the other big social media companies.
In what way?
Well, their main business model is collecting data and then selling it to advertisers so they can make a profit.
Okay.
Every social media is incentivized to do the same thing, which is why their algorithms want to keep you on the platform for as long as possible so they can advertise to you more, so you're more likely to buy those products.
It's no different than when you watch TV. You're being fed commercials, and that's why broadcast TV
But
is
the
free.
thing about social media is that it's specifically targeted to keep you on there as long as possible, whereas cable TV, for example, is optimized, sure, for maximum viewer attention from a broad audience.
Yeah, TV does have some targeting, though, like local car dealerships, right?
You're right. Okay, that's a good point. It does, but these are not hyper specific to the individual. It's impossible to get that with cable TV, and it's why marketers love social media platforms, which YouTube most likely falls under.
What about something like Netflix? Because Netflix does serve you targeted ads as you watch based on your profile and the content you watch.
You're right, but also consider it's not user-generated content. Meaning not everybody can post to Netflix. These are studios with a product in mind. They post it, right? Sure, it might be intended for a specific audience, but how is that different than like cable TV making something for a specific audience in the same way Adult Swim in the nights and Cartoon Network in the morning?
Amazon Prime Video. They have a platform where other people can submit and publish content. I know a guy who's an independent filmmaker, and he doesn't have a studio. He just is himself, and he has gotten content that you can watch on Prime Video. So it's user-created content that is published there. There's some hoops to drop through, way more than YouTube, but it can be done.
Okay, then in that case, that section of Amazon might actually, well, it might, keyword is might, be considered user-generated content.
And you can post reviews on anything on Amazon. It's not quite the same thing as commenting like on YouTube, but it's very similar.
Then if there's also engagement features like that, then actually I would be keen to classify that as social media.
But my understanding is Australia did not see it that way. Not with Amazon.
Not with Amazon? Okay.
Yeah. So
maybe it's because you have to go through a verification process where you have to see that you're an independent filmmaker and you have to post something of a certain quality. In the same way that if you're like to publish a video game, you have to get the manufacturer's seal of approval.
Sort of. They do require.
Kind of like, you know how you get the Nintendo stamp on everything?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's not quite that thorough. The reason why I know, because I asked my friend about what it took. And you do have to have certain, you have to have a certain quality, like in terms of resolution, certain specs of the video. You have to embed all subcaptioned and titles. You have to embed those things. So there's metadata that has to be embedded in order to be published. But they don't really monitor content excessive. I mean, obviously they don't want porn videos and stuff like that on there. So there is some of that content restriction. But like, there's no quality restriction. Like if it's a bad film, like in terms of just like, this is really poorly made, but it meets the minimum specs and requirements, it'll still make it through.
Okay, I mean, in that case, it looks like the Australian government is handling it on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
It looks like they're looking at the individual cases by these big companies and saying, is this impactful at all? And should we not allow it? Or is this okay?
So what about stuff like Pinterest? I guess that would be blocked as well.
Yeah.
Etsy,
Pinterest counts as social media to
Etsy's
me.
more of a store, but it's very much Pinterest-like, isn't it?
Etsy?
Etsy is like Pinterest with a shopping cart, isn't it? That's how I see it.
Not quite. I use Etsy. I love Etsy, actually.
But don't you feel it's sort of like Pinterest with an add to cart store?
I mean, Facebook Marketplace is banned.
Facebook Marketplace is banned in Australia?
Well, because Facebook Marketplace is directly part of Facebook.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. That's a different part of maybe that portal part could still be available, though. I don't know. That's not.
We don't live in Australia, and
hey, get a VPN.
I didn't think to. Well, I do have a VPN. I didn't think to test it right now. You
have an assignment.
We'll come back to that next time, right? But I don't necessarily think adding a ability to purchase things on your platform automatically makes it not a social media platform.
No, but Etsy is more of a shopping source than anything, but they have a very kind of Pinterest style vibe with like, oh, here's this new, unique, cool little curios that people are showing off.
Well, but hold on. You could compare this to something like Amazon. Amazon obviously isn't social media.
No.
Right? But you can leave reviews.
Yeah, and there's a social.
But the main purpose of Amazon isn't to advertise to you. The main purpose of Amazon is to sell. And I would argue Etsy's the same way. Etsy's business model does not rely on ads. It relies on taking a cut from people who sell on the platform. So I would argue the incentives are actually different. Etsy's incentivized to get you to buy as much crap as possible. And Amazon is too, whereas social media companies, their business model is to get you to engage with the platform.
But the issue with Pinterest is a similar issue you face with someone on Etsy.
Right, whereas Pinterest, on the case-by-case basis we're going by here, actively does want to keep you on the platform because they do rely on ads to stay in business.
Etsy wants you to keep you on the platform and look around too.
Etsy mainly wants you to buy stuff. If you spend 15 minutes on the platform and you buy like 10 items, that's a win for Etsy.
Yeah.
Whereas if I went on Pinterest and spent 15 minutes there and then left, that's a loss for Pinterest.
But also a lot of people on Pinterest do have links to buy stuff from their stores.
But the thing is, Pinterest doesn't take a cut of that. In the same way that like YouTube doesn't take a cut out of Patreon.
Not out of Patreon, but they take a cut out of...
You're right. YouTube recently has started integrating a feature.
Yeah, they do have some paid cut. They get a cut of videos.
But this isn't YouTube's main business model. They don't make much money from these features.
Yeah, okay.
They are partially there to kind of smooth over the process of getting people to engage with their content creators on a financial level.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of having to go through Patreon where they get no cut, they go through YouTube where they get a cut and they make it easier for you because you can do it through Google Pay.
All right. So are you saying now, I get the impression you're in favor of what Australia is doing. Are you in favor of something like that happening here in the U.S.?
Look, the U.S. is a different beast.
Okay.
I think what we could do is just make it so we establish a legal framework for kids not to use their phones during class. See, you would get behind this, right?
There already is a state law that says you're not allowed to use your phones in class. That was enacted last year.
Okay, see, I assume you're behind that. As a former teacher?
Yes and no. I think that in general you shouldn't, but remember, my class taught students how to use mobile devices.
Well, but the teacher, but hold on. Would it be illegal for the teacher to say, you can now take out, or rather, I'm going to give you guys a phone, because you gave us phones, to like toy on.
Yeah.
Right? That would be a suitable alternative to having students use their personal phones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was actually one of the few teachers that was already kind of gearing up for that before the law took effect. But I've been to other schools because, as you know...
I was also in the public school system 2 years ago. I'm fully in support of it.
Well, as you know, with my organization, I'm with AZ Strut, and that stands for Arizona Students Recycling Used Technology. So we go to schools, and we work a lot with schools. And I've been to some schools, and I'm not going to out any schools. I don't want to cause any problems for anybody, but I will.
And also, you might get in legal trouble for other reasons.
I doubt that.
You never know. Some schools might be particularly litigious.
I don't know. But what I will say is I've been to some schools that I don't see phones. It doesn't seem like much of a problem. And I have definitely been to schools where phones, big problem. We have got kids who are still very much on their phones in class, and the teachers are still not really well equipped to handle it. I don't know. You saw how I handled it. Did I handle it okay, do you think, in class?
Sorry, now I'm trying to remember.
Well, remember we had the pockets? And I would have you put your phones in the pockets?
Yeah, I mean, I felt that was perfectly reasonable. Yeah. I wasn't like going to fight about it. I don't think I ever did.
No, there was a couple people that resisted.
I think the only time I would ever resist the rule was when I was like, shoot, I need to call my mom.
Right. But you know,
but also like my mom can wait until after class.
And the school's policy was if it's an emergency, you call the school, they ring my desk.
I think I did actually do that a couple times.
And I was on the fence about
But I wasn't like, oh, I should have my phone with me all the time, 24/7 because of that.
Right. And my thing was I followed the school's policy because I got it. But my personal policy would have been a little more of a lighter take. Talk with me. If you got to talk to your parents, that's fine. Just work it out with me. And there's things where I'm okay with it. And
But
if it's
also
an abuse thing,
consider.
I'll step in. You getting a phone call? It's from.
Let me just make sure it's nothing important, then I'll let you go.
I can tell you it's nothing important because it's not me calling you. If it was me calling you, it would be important.
Hey Joe, is it something important?
Wow. I just got completely.
Okay, then do you mind if I call you back in like just 45?
Dissed on. Is that the right word? Disrespected. Honestly.
Okay, it was nothing important.
My phone rang twice so far, and I did not answer it.
Well, I looked at the name. I looked at the name, and I thought this might be important.
Was it my name?
You know, I have other people in my life, right?
Was it my
like
name?
you realize on a weekly basis, you're actually one of the people I talk to least that I know regularly.
So was it my name on that call?
No,
then it wasn't worth talking to right now.
Yes, I pick up the phone. Yeah, my brother just died.
You can find that out after the show. Not when we're recording, because then you're going to be a mess for the rest of the show anyway.
I would end the show if I found out my brother was dead.
That's why you'd wait.
I would end. We would cut it 20 minutes short, and we'd figure it out afterwards.
I think this is a good example of why you shouldn't have your phone. I think that you need to put your phone in airplane mode before we record, because you just can't handle it.
It was fine. Worst case scenario, they just chop a little bit out.
But you were going to end the show right then and there if you thought it was important enough.
Yes.
We don't know.
Yes.
Exactly.
If it's an urgent situation where I need to leave like now, I want to know.
We only have 10 more minutes in the show. You can wait.
It's wee-woo. I'm dying. Oh, where is Axel in my final moments?
Don't worry, because 911 has access to that person's phone and will have the footage for you to see what happened later. Problem solved.
911 is not recording me or recording my brother's dying moments and then sending that to me.
We don't know. They might be. If you get a job working for like some government agency, you might have access to that footage. I'm just saying.
Oh my god. Okay. Me hacking the local state data center so I can get the footage of my brother's death. I mean, because it was totally recorded, right?
I could absolutely see you doing that. That could be like, yeah, that could be a storyline I could see you living.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways. What were we talking about?
You see, that's the problem. You got distracted by the phone.
Social media, carve-outs, exceptions, schools and yeah.
You just proved my point for me.
Except we're not in school. I'm a grown adult.
We are at the East Valley Institute of Technology.
Okay, but I'm not attending your class, Mr. Bodine. Jared, I can call you that now.
It still sounds gross, though.
Okay, Mr. Bodine. We are grown adults inside the studio together now.
Yeah.
And I can make my own choices as a responsible adult and understand the consequences of that. Unlike literal children who cannot be trusted in a lot of cases to make rational decisions for themselves because if given the chance, will sabotage their own future.
First of all, you're on the public school, so you have to agree to certain policies to be here. That's first.
Except I'm not a student.
No, you're still a guest on these premises, so you do have to adhere.
You are right. I am a visitor.
Yeah, so you do have to adhere to certain policies. So don't play that dumb. Second of all, you are not mature enough to make these decisions.
So I'm mature enough to hold a full-time job, and also manage my own finances.
I know a lot of people that work at McDonald's, but I wouldn't have them work for me. Just because they have a full-time job doesn't mean they're like amazing. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just saying.
Whatever. You know what? Actually, that's a good point, actually. Even adults who can somehow hold a job.
Yeah, I've seen some adults that I'm like, I don't know how you keep that job because, I mean, I don't know how you function. I mean, not you personally, but I mean, people I've seen.
That's like the nicest you've been to me.
I did too nice. Yeah, I gotta curl this back. Like I said, I didn't have my memes.
See, here's the thing, right? The ongoing lore is that you're in my head and we're actually like the same person talking back to each other.
Yeah, well.
I think this is actually a sign that we're going to therapy and sorting out our issues.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we're learning to love ourselves.
Yeah, well, I've got.
We're having a balanced discussion.
Maybe it's the season. You know, it's just that time of year when we're nicer to people. I mean, the holidays are here.
A little bit of that cheer.
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, we got to see all the Coca-Cola ads.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I was playing a game with my family. Have you ever seen the game The Floor? It's a game show on TV. It's called The Floor. It's hosted by Rob Lowe. was
For
one of
people who
those
aren't
Frat
seeing the
Pack.
video, I'm doing what's like the Dwayne The Rock Johnson eyebrow
Oh no,
raise.
I was thinking
like,
more. It's like that girl like who was found out she's going to Disneyland and had that like what face? Remember that meme? The little girl with the buck teeth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what you kind of looked like more. So, there's a game called The Floor is really a fun game to watch, and but it's even more fun to play. So I found a slideshow, a series of slideshows. What it is you're showing a quick image of something, and you have to identify what it is. And one of them was commercials.
I'm falling asleep.
I know. I played this with my family, and I'll kick you so it keeps you awake.
And
Anyway, I showed the Budweiser.
Stop kicking me.
You know the.
Stop kicking me.
You know the Budweiser
You're not
horse?
kicking me anymore.
You know the Budweiser horse? I showed. the
Not
clip
really.
Of, you don't know the Budweiser
I think
horse?
I saw it once
The
in a
big
Super Bowl.
Clydesdale horses.
No, not really.
Anyway, that, and then I showed another one of like the Coke always has like the panda bears, and my sister did not get those references. And I'm like,
how old is your sister?
She's older than me, so she's
like,
been around.
It's like 22.
I'm 25, so she's older than me.
Wait, so you're no longer 20? You aged 5 years
No,
and
I've already
6
been
months.
25.
No, you aged 5 years and 6 months.
I don't know how you got
You're
this
admitting you're old. You're a fossil. You're ancient.
25
Look at him. You got white hairs. You got white hairs.
Way-
Yeah, I'm
way too
pointing
close to my
because I'm
face.
young and obnoxious. You're old.
You are obnoxious.
You're
I figured it out.
old.
Yeah, you are obnoxious. That part checks. All right, what else you got on the subjects for today? Because you said you had a bunch of things.
I don't think I said I had a bunch of things.
Well, you said you had things.
I did say I had things.
Okay.
Besides 911, I wanted to talk a little bit about Ubiquity. You know the company?
I'm very familiar with you.
Okay, just making sure. I was at work, right? And I recently found out because I don't work with Ubiquity equipment like ever.
Oh, well,
My formal education was in Cisco. Nothing else.
yeah, I can't claim any responsibility for that because I taught you how to use all Soho routers brand independent.
You're right, you did. I'm not saying that's your fault. I'm just saying I took a networking class at EVIT, and at least while I was there, it was all Cisco, baby.
Yeah.
Don't you love having an entire chapter dedicated to managing your subscriptions and licenses?
But here's the thing that's fair is look at the market share. If you are
Cisco's a complete monopoly.
Yeah, so it makes sense that that's the one you focused on.
Right, but something I found interesting is that Ubiquity actually has GUIs for a lot of the stuff we learned in class.
Yes, and what you learned in class was command line interface stuff.
Yeah,
which is,
for context, what we
that's
would
a
do a lot
story.
in class is we had a program called Packet Tracer, right? And it would
yeah.
Packet Tracer would show you a pre-generated network topology. A topology is like, think of it like the layout for your network.
It's like a virtual network layout.
Exactly, right? It's where are all of the devices on the network and what numbers are they assigned to?
Simulated routers and switches.
Exactly. Right. And we would click on the devices, open up the command prompt, and then type it in.
Which ironically
And then in
was
the
called iOS, which has nothing to do with Apple.
And
So
for context,
confusing.
this iOS came before Apple's.
It did.
It's called an integrated operating system.
Or iOS.
I know. I'm just explaining to the audience why Cisco called it
But
that.
they spelled it with all caps.
Yes.
Whereas iOS is lowercase I, capital O.
Because Apple needs to be different.
Well, they do think different. Well, and also the lowercase I in iPhone, it's part of their.
I know. It's part of their branding.
Yeah.
At least until recently.
What do you mean recently?
Well, I mean, okay, for the last like 5 years, patent trolls have been branding everything as I. So Apple's been trying to get away from that naming scheme so they don't have to pay out ridiculous sums just to get their products with an I in the front.
Oh.
That's why you've noticed that, right?
I actually haven't. But,
Like every new product Apple rolls out, it doesn't start with an I in the front.
well, like the Vision.
Like the Apple Watch or Apple TV.
Yeah, I guess that's true because iWatch was what we all expected was what they were going to call it, and they never did call it the Apple. They never called it the iWatch. They called it just Apple
Exactly,
Watch.
and you know why?
Well, I guess
Because
now I do.
some patent troll said you have to pay me like a couple $1,000,000 to use this name now.
That's actually really smart of that patent troll. I'll give him
Well,
credit for that.
He didn't get his money because I think he charged too high of a price, but
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it's like domain parking, where you can go and buy a website and just wait for someone to want. Have you ever been to milk.com? Go to milk.com.
Okay, we'll do it on this computer.
Yeah. So milk.com, that's the wrong keyboard. Milk.com is a very innocuous sounding name, right? It's just it's
Yeah.
milk, no big deal. But what makes it cool,
Milk Communication Co-op.
yeah, some guy in the 90s bought milk.com, and it's sort of like his own little fun, like, it's like a vanity website. It's for fun. And he got it because it was like, it was free back when he registered the domain, and he's kept it up ever since.
Milk not for sale.
Yes.
The guy could be a millionaire.
Yeah. Yeah. And he puts, I got milk.com. This guy owns this. He's had it since the 90s. He got it back when anyone just had to write a letter to the domain registrars and say, here's why I want this. It was a nickname he had at work. That's why he got this with a legitimate reason. And you could sell something like milk.com.
If you're not offering $10 million,
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Yeah. This guy, he's for reals too. He's had a lot of offers, and he was told in a podcast I was listening to, like, are you really selling this or not? And he says, well, I'm not selling it, but honestly, if someone really wanted to give me 10 million, that's probably my breaking point. But he's had offers for $1 million plus, and he's turned them down for this domain.
Based.
Cool, right? Because he got in on this early. But see, that's what the iWatch people did. Same thing. But there are people whose entire like careers or incomes is they speculate on useful website names, buy them early, and hope to resell them to someone who'll pay for it.
Hold on, who has AI.com?
Oh yeah, well, there's computer.com, and that one's been changing hands a lot because I've been monitoring that one for years.
AI.com. The next something mind-blowing is coming. Really? What is this?
I mean, it looks like a bank.
Coming soon.
You know what I think this is?
What?
That's domain parking.
Yeah, this is domain parking.
So
and you gotta join their wait list to know what's happening.
Yeah. When it just says coming soon on a big thing like that, that means that somebody bought this, and if you don't do anything with it, then whoever your domain registrar is, they'll take it back from you. They'll say you were literally not using this, and then they'll come at you and say, if you're not using this, then we can say you're just kind of illegally domain parking, and we'll find a way to get it back. But so you have to put something on there of some relevance, and so yeah, that's kind of what's happening.
Actually, that would make sense.
Yeah, but isn't that neat?
Okay, computer.com doesn't seem to be leading me anywhere.
It does work in my classes, but
it might be blocked.
Network filtering here might be, your results may vary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But pretty cool, right?
That is actually a little neat little thing.
And it's one of those things where like I could have years ago bought so many domains.
See, our audience is actually learning something from this episode.
Well, every time I talk, they do.
I think they would say we learned from both of us. Like, what's your problem?
Okay, sure. Anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, like if I would have thought of this, I could have bought.
Oh my God, I got distracted. I was going to talk about Cisco.
Chocolate.com, cars.com. I mean, think of all those words. Any noun, any verb.com that you could have bought back when anyone could start buying these, you could be a multi-millionaire now for nothing. How awesome would that be?
Man, too bad I wasn't born in the 1980s to capitalize on this.
You'd have to be closer to the 90s. In the 80s, you had to explain a justification.
Too bad I wasn't born in the 70s to take advantage of this.
Before the internet was a thing? Before there were
well, because then I could start, but I had to get old enough to start buying the domains.
That's right. That's true. When I first bought my domain, because I have a couple vanity domains, but they're based on my name. So it's like I didn't have a lot of competition for it.
Watch somebody named Jared Bodine become super famous and offer to buy it for $5 million.
Yeah, we'll talk maybe 10. But I've been trying for years to get Bodine.com.
You're telling me you would turn down $5 million?
I said we'll talk about it. But Bodine.com, just the last name. I've been trying for years to get that. Some company in the East Coast snagged that up. I don't know when, but early 2000s at least.
What, they have some like executive whose last name was Bodine?
It's a company of some kind.
Yeah.
Go to Bodine.com. It's not me. I don't know whose it is. Maybe it's changed hands. I've looked at it a couple times and I've tried to buy it, but they're not interested. They're not even responding. But
so if I go, it looks like it's blocked too.
Yeah, it's.
Wait, hold on.
There it is.
Bodine, Signify.
See, Bodine Products.
Bodine Products.
Am I the product? Are they selling me?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool looking though? It looks legit, doesn't it?
I mean, this looks like emergency equipment.
Yeah, they've updated their website since I was there last. It looks actually pretty good now.
Yeah, like this does not look bad at all. I guess, but yeah, so it looks like Bodine is the name of a brand. You're probably not getting this, dude.
I'm not getting it.
You're not.
No, I know I'm not getting it. I could use it as a brand for myself because it is my name. Like, no one could come after me for using
Yeah,
it.
of course they wouldn't be interested. This looks like a big brand. Okay.
Yeah. But you can't blame me for looking and trying, right?
Oh no, I don't blame you for trying. Not
Yeah.
at all. I'm just saying, like, at this point, it's a lost cause.
Right. But if I had been on my game, or if I had been older, if I was born earlier, I could have gotten that.
Exactly. If I was born in the 70s and I could be a complete fossil right now.
Yeah, if I had been of age in the 90s, when the .com bubble was building, you could buy any domain you wanted for cheap at that time. Man, if only.
You'd be filthy right now.
Yeah, if you could.
I mean, we're talking. You wouldn't have taken any showers doing
mouse.com, keyboard.com, radio.com. I mean, any of them. Oh, there's goldmine.com. Could have had them all. If only.
California Gold Rush, baby.
.com. Could have owned it all.
Okay, buddy.
Anyway,
okay, buddy.
There's still domains you can get, but like.
So, anyways, what I was going to say, and something I'd recently come to the
iCar.com.
realization of. Can we like focus back in on Cisco?
I'm talking about the ICOMs.
Okay.
We're talking about Apple stuff. I'm going back earlier.
No,
you're only going halfway back.
Okay, let's go back to Cisco.
Okay.
Right, it's
Ubiquity.
ubiquity.
That's
yes.
where we're trying to go. Okay.
Right, Cisco has command prompts for all of this stuff, and like, sure, if you took the classes, you get certified. Once you get a feel for it, honestly, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's just like any other coding language.
Exactly, and it's like I was already using Linux before this, so the command prompt was never the problem, right?
Yeah.
Ubiquity actually has user interfaces that you can access by just typing in the local gateway.
Cisco's not.
Or
better.
you could use a program like Putty or TerraTerm.
Yeah, but those aren't great. Those are.
I mean, they're the only ways I've ever known to get. Well, then Putty.
Well, I'm not a Putty fan either. It's not the programs I'm talking about. It's the interface. It's having to go through that route to get to the device. I prefer a basic GUI interface.
Well, I'll look. GUIs are always going to be more intuitive. Some people will prefer command prompt.
Let's back up one sec, just so people know what we're talking about when we say GUI, because we might.
General user interface.
No, it's graphical user interface.
Graphical user interface. Okay.
Yeah. So it's point and click. You see it, you click it. You don't have to know the words, the commands to type. That's what GUI is.
Yeah.
GUI, graphical user.
It's essentially a layer of abstraction meant to make using it easier.
I mean, like Windows is basically a GUI.
Well, any desktop is an abstraction of how you use your computer.
Well, the original Windows wasn't.
Well, that was MS-DOS.
No, yeah, the original DOS wasn't a GUI.
Right, the original Windows was a GUI, and that's all it's ever been.
Yeah. Well, because that was the only.
Mind you, there is like Windows Server Core, which only has command prompt, but I think they might have discontinued that or put it under a different name.
Even like Windows PE is a GUI.
Pocket Edition.
You know about Windows PE?
I'm making a Minecraft joke.
Okay.
It's Minecraft Pocket Edition. It's Windows Pocket Edition.
Okay.
I mean, I know what Windows PE is, but like Portable Edition.
It doesn't actually stand for portable, I don't think. I think it's more preparation, like a prep edition.
Oh, really?
You use it to help create images that you can deploy.
Oh, actually, that makes sense.
But anyway.
Anyways, Pocket Edition.
Yes. Let's go with it.
So, okay, last thing I was going to say is
Ubiquity.
Ubiquity. It almost makes me wonder if Cisco doesn't implement something similar, so that all of these certifications and qualifications in the IT industry actually mean something. Because if they implemented a GUI, you could just get any bucko off the street who had any networking knowledge, and they could do the same thing. Not necessarily a Cisco technician, right? Because hold on, let me finish.
Okay, I'm just saying it's not a bad thing. I'm adding to you. I'm not cutting you off.
Okay,
just keep going.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I got nervous for a second. I thought you were feeling aggressive now.
Well, I know you're feeling defensive.
Anyways, so I think part of it is that Cisco wants you to call them for help, right?
Yeah,
if
true.
you have Cisco equipment and you can't figure out why it's not working, you need to call Cisco, because only their technicians or their certified technicians, who also have to pay money to stay certified, can come in, look at it, fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of why when they had to deal with Ubiquity, which is actually putting up some decent competition now, thank God, right? I'm not saying like Ubiquiti's perfect either.
Yeah.
Right. But when they're making it so you don't necessarily need a Ubiquiti technician just to work on the damn thing and do some basic troubleshooting.
So I've got mixed feelings about Cisco. I don't have any hate for them. I think that they make
I don't
a
either.
great project.
Like, I'm a Cisco certified technician. Like,
Right. I think they make a great product, and they do try to reach out to schools and help people get certification. They don't try and put up a lot of walls. They
but
just wanna
also
make sure that people
consider
know what
they
they're
do
doing.
make a lot of money from people getting certified. Tons. Right. They're not actively disincentivized to offer certifications because even if you don't call Cisco directly for third-party assistance, the people who you hire still have to pay Cisco, or your organization that you're working at still has to pay Cisco. Either way, they win.
That's what I'm getting at. Is the thing about Cisco that I don't like about their business model is most of their hardware, the enterprise level, the consumer stuff is fine, but the enterprise stuff,
the consumer stuff you mind if I? So I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I'm getting used to it.
I'm apologizing. No, you're right. I am being hypocritical. That's why I'm apologizing. No. Sorry. I'll let you finish.
Okay. So the enterprise stuff is where they get you because you have to pay active licenses. We at AZ Strut, when businesses have to upgrade their equipment and end of life, and we get stuff, we wipe stuff and all that, so their data's not leaking, but their old network equipment will often come in through our doors for refurbishing, repurposing, or most likely recycling. And that equipment is top of the line equipment. And some of it, even though it's older, is still very useful. But here's the problem. The remarket for it is nil.
Garbage.
Because you have to pay
This is not an Apple product.
Fee.
Yeah.
It's worse than Apple because
I wasn't joking when I said we had an entire chapter dedicated to subscriptions and managing them.
Because if you do not actively pay a monthly fee or whatever if you don't have a current fee paid.
Also licensing.
Yeah, those Macari, those really awesome access points that a lot of enterprise places use, they're basically bricks without that subscription.
I won't say much, but my employer is addicted to a lot of Cisco products like that.
Yeah, and I get it. They're sexy. They're svelte. They do work very well. They're very cool pieces.
They're good products that charge exorbitant prices for them because they're monopoly.
They cost a lot to purchase and a lot to continue to use. And I think it should be the other way around. I think it should be, one or the other. Either it's very expensive, but the total cost of ownership is low, or make it an affordable price, but then you pay for it through the subscription model later. I don't like having you get high charges on both sides.
The thing is, Cisco can get away with it because of their market dominance.
Right, and that's true. And
sorry, editor.
I have no disdain for Cisco. You've got the market, and that's how capitalism works, and I get it. But
I would argue it's the government's job to kind of oxidize the machine and keep these monopolies from happening in the first place, or at the very least split them up.
They're not a full-on monopoly. We're talking about Ubiquiti today. There's Juniper Networks. There's other ones out there. HP makes really good enterprise equipment. So does Dell. It's not strictly all Cisco. They have the commanding market share, but if they
collapse, like 60 or 70% market share.
It's huge. But if they collapse, they would.
I would argue that is a monopoly.
I think it's just a large market share. I don't think it's a full-on monopoly. There's a lot of other options. If they did collapse, hypothetically, there's plenty of other alternatives people could turn to today.
I think what would most likely happen is instead of having to pay a bunch for one company to do all of your networking services, you now have to pay a lot of companies a small amount of money to do all of those services separately.
I think places like Ubiquiti,
Macari might become its own separate product, and then the switches would be its own separate thing.
Macari was a separate product. Cisco bought them.
Actually, point proven.
They bought them back. Still good products though.
Anyways, so just something I want to finish it. That was my little conspiracy. I mean, it's not that much
the
of a
Ubiquiti thing.
Yeah.
You know what though? I don't use Ubiquiti either personally.
I've never heard of a Ubiquiti certified technician.
I haven't either. But I use even more like halfway to that enterprise stuff. Like, TrendNet is basically a Cisco product. Isn't TrendNet the Cisco one? Or is Netgear the Cisco one?
Netgear is.
I'm sorry, not TrendNet. Netgear products are basically Cisco. It's their consumer line. And if you get high-end Netgears, you're getting basically Cisco quality stuff without a subscription.
Yeah. Now, something I want to point out here for our consumer audience, this is mostly an issue in the enterprise level. Like, I see this issue at my work, for example, sometimes, right? This is not something you need to worry about on a consumer level for the most part.
Well, it depends on how high of a consumer you are. Some homes nowadays are like mini offices.
That is true.
Ethernet runs
Where
through the
if you
walls.
use your house for a small business, then you might run into issues with this.
Well, and a lot
but
of
let's say your interactions with Cisco are very indirect as a normal consumer.
Well, that's true.
You access a website that uses Cisco products, so you don't see it. You buy a router from Cox, or you rent one rather.
It comes from your service provider.
You're right, but those service providers, if you read the boxes or the router, they're not actually okay, they are routers. They're also modems and switches. They're all-in-one devices, right? But those all-in-one devices, if you look at them, they will tell you they are manufactured and made by Cisco. The only thing that isn't Cisco is that the manufacturers are allowed to put their own third-party firmware on there.
Well, and sometimes though, there's other brands that make
But even then,
like,
I imagine under the hood, if you got a Cox technician to figure out an issue with the router or the all-in-one devices, to be more specific.
But those aren't all Cisco either. You're painting with broad brush. Like
you're
right.
But the lot of them are like Cox, one of the biggest brands in the U.S. Those are all
Are you sure?
Cisco,
Aris, is that a Cisco brand? I don't think it is.
I'm talking about Cox here. Cox is where my experience is.
A lot of Cox
is one of the biggest.
ARRIS.
Oh yes, those are Cisco.
Are you sure?
I know that for a fact. Okay. I've read them. It says manufactured by Cisco on
I wasn't aware of that.
You know the Panorama Wi-Fi boxes?
Those are not Aris.
Those are not Aris?
No, I don't think so.
Well, those panoramic Wi-Fi boxes, which you see in most houses,
I know what you're referring to. Yes.
Those are Cisco.
I'm referring to just the modem components from Aris. That's what.
You're talking about so you're not talking about the box as a whole.
I'm not talking about the panoramic Wi-Fi hardware that they supply.
Okay. I'm mostly talking about the circuitry, the switches, and the routers here.
Yeah.
The modem might be separate.
Well, even if you don't use it on your
but I know a lot of routers are manufactured by Cisco and used by service providers.
Yeah, and on the back end,
like that 70% market share isn't a joke, and this applies to the consumer
service
space.
Providers on the back end, they're using Cisco.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like a very safe bet. All right. Well, anyway, we kind of.
You're right. We overstayed our welcome a little bit.
Well, you did. I'm fine. But we do have to get out of here because class is in session and there's kids looking through the window periodically at us.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're not.
You're right. You're right. As a famous person once said, screw 'em, kids. Anyways.
Wow.
This is in the iTech Show. I'm Axel.
And I'm Jared Bodine.
Have a good day, y'all. I'll end the stream. There we go.